Greetings. In this video, I'm going to discuss the Minuet in G by Bach on page 84 of the Christopher Parkening Classical Guitar Method, Volume 1. Now, in this piece, it is very contrapuntal. Bach wrote music where you kind of have lines moving against lines, and especially in this piece, we have a pretty strong bass line. So it's very stepwise, it's very connected. And then we have this really beautiful melody over the top. And occasionally he throws in some little notes right in the middle as texture to just kind of fill out the sound. So right now we have just our bass and our melody. And then these two notes right here are just kind of in the middle. I wouldn't say that we go D, G, G. I would say that more the D hangs. Even though it's marked as a quarter note, I would rather play it as a dotted half note. And when you have a texture that you want to contrast from a melody, one thing I find works very well is to heavily articulate the texture. So if I have long, clearly legato notes, they're very connected, and then I come in with something somewhere else, that little articulation there where I cut him short, what I'm doing is I'm just alternating my fingers, but I bring in that middle finger early and it just cuts off the note. If I do that, it doesn't really sound like melody, and so it does a great job of making it clear. It's as if the note is communicating that it's texture rather than trying to pull your ear down a fifth all of a sudden. Have another listen to that. So our melody is going to be nice and legato, and then our texture is going to be heavily articulated. So that kind of trains our ear what we should be listening to, what's melodic. Now, at the very end of this piece, we have another gesture that has the exact same principle come into play. At the end, I have this G, D, G. Now, I would say that it's more of an arpeggiation with the lower notes. Our melody isn't going bum, bum, bum. What it's doing is it's ending on G and hanging for the whole measure. But then we have those other notes just to kind of fill things out or really create a nice strong sense of closure at the end. So I'm going to play these last two measures. And you hear that by cutting that D really short, it helps that G to just sound like we've arrived. And that's our arrival, and we're not going anywhere new from there. So this is a great thing to practice. I would really encourage you, when you're playing Baroque music especially, to really experiment with your articulation and see what works and what doesn't. It's one of those things that sometimes it can be very logical and structural, like what I was presenting right here, but sometimes it just takes listening and being creative and experimenting, or even sometimes we just have a happy accident and articulate something and all of a sudden realize, hey, that sounded really good, let me try that again. So mess with it, play with it, and see what you can figure it out on your own. I hope this was helpful, and thank you for watching.